part of the conversation that moves the agenda of angel investing forward, it's important that we talk and drill the guys who have done this for a bit. And so for a few minutes, the CEO of Kadekeyo, Tahno Attah, will be talking with Iyin Aboyeji, and between them, in a very hopefully lively conversation for briefly, they'll be sharing with us experiences. Iyin particularly will be sharing with us experiences and taking questions about his angel investing experiences as Tahno directs the conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, let's receive Tahno and Iyin. Mona the clap na, I beg.
Okay, good evening, everyone. There are two special people here, and one of them is only special because I say so. I'm special. But we all know he is really special, so special that I spent 4 hours of the night, I just told him that a while back, watching videos trying to get into the mind of the man.
I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, well, it's good. My wife she was like, oh, come to bed. I'm like, yeah, I need to get this done. So yes, we're going to be having a conversation about angel investing. And I want to start, I think I'd like to start here. You said something very interesting, and you said you got suckered into running a business that you were an angel investor for. So the question is, what inspired you to start angel investing? Take us to the very beginning of that exact journey.
So I think for me it was a very different thing. So I was Andela. I started Andela in 2014 with my team, my founding team, and I was 23 at the time. I didn't have any responsibilities. I had just started to get a pretty decent salary. At the time, and we didn't know there was anything wrong with this, but now the young people may not agree. We were 12 living in a 4-bedroom apartment in Yaba. And, you know, we had blocks separating our rooms and all that, but we were very happy, you know. And what happened was, I basically had all this spare cash, right? Company was paying for my house, you know. I didn't have to worry about food. So I had all this spare cash. And then I had all these my friends who I felt guilty, weren't as lucky as I was to find a Jeremy Johnson to partner with. So what inspired my angel investing was pity. Thankfully, that's not what it is anymore. But it was just, man, it's not fair. I have this money, I have this, you know, opportunity. My friend who's been working with me on the 6th floor of CC Hub didn't. So how can I help him? And oftentimes, the thing that was in shortest supply at the time was capital. Cash, yeah. So I think my first few angel investments, I did Tekabao. I was one of the first checks in Tekabao. I put 2 million at that time. I was one of the first investors.
Sorry, is that 2 million US?
Naira. Calm down. Where would I see 2 million US? 2 million Naira.
Okay.
Then I did delivery science. That's what they were called at the time. But from that team, Ezra went and did Paystack, and so many other people have gone and done other things. So basically, it was really just, I did Max, right? So it was just funding my friends. It wasn't anything scientific or anything like that.
Okay, thank you. So let's move slightly away from pity and try and round it to trying to understand the man you've become and how you think about angel investing. I'm going to assume that you still angel invest today?
Well, to be very honest, since we set up the fund, I've had to angel invest with the fund because, you know, because I have a few outside investors, I have to manage the conflict that I invested in a deal they didn't invest in, and then I made money there, they didn't make money. So yeah, basically I only angel invest with the fund now.
Okay, so let's just drive head on into that and ask, how do you then make that investment decision? How do you know this is it?
Well, because I started as an angel investor, I'm not a professional investor. I didn't go to school for it.
Okay.
I sweated and wasted $1 million plus of my own money, this time dollars, to learn how to angel invest. So I have a different approach from other people. So my approach to angel investing is first of all to help the entrepreneur. I don't actually try to understand the business from what the entrepreneur is saying. I'm just trying to understand what the entrepreneur is trying to do and help the entrepreneur. And then it's in helping the entrepreneur I determine whether it's a good business or not.
Okay. So helping the entrepreneur, you decide if it's a good business or not. So I watched, like I said, 4 hours of interviews yesterday, and something stuck out. In fact, I was going to ask you, that secret film, there's a venture that you made, you said it was the highest return, film renting. Yeah. So if a startup founder walks up to you, how do you look at that startup founder and how do you figure this person? Now, we're not talking about your investment thesis now. We're talking about the person on the other side of the table. What makes you believe in that person that you want to commit?
Yeah, I mean, most of the founders that I've worked with, even these filmmakers, I've probably had a relationship with for 2-3 years. Mm. So the first thing is, when a founder walks up to me, I'm trying to understand their motivation. Why are they trying to build a company? If the main reason they're trying to build a company is so they can make money, technically speaking, I'm out.
But, I mean, shouldn't that be a good reason?
Yes, it should. But you see, building a company is so hard. There are easier ways to make money.
Okay.
So if the founder is doing this just to make money, I know they won't last. Because I've already seen that it's going to take some time to build anything valuable. It's going to take a lot of pain, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of banging your head against the wall. So if that person only motivation is to make money, they will sooner or later figure out that there are easier ways to make money.
Okay.
So the person I want to back is somebody who is very, I call them obsessively in love with their customer.
Okay.
Let me explain what I mean. And it's not an archetype I promote, but it's what I invest in.
Okay.
But I don't promote it. The other day I met with a founder. And you know, as usual, I just said, look, I understand you're trying to raise, but I just want to help you. Let me help you find a customer. Let's see how you deal with this customer. So I was in Barbados. So I said, look, this customer I found for you is in Barbados. He would like to meet with you. He said, okay. When do you want me to be there? I said, just like that. Okay, next week. He said, okay. Well, if I take off from, he was in London. So I said, if he takes off from London, it'll take him about 8 hours to get to Barbados. So the earliest he can come is Wednesday next week. I said, no problem. He didn't say anything to me. On Sunday, he calls me and he says, actually, Iyin, I'm really sorry. My wife just gave birth. I said, praise God. Your wife just gave birth. No problem. Let's postpone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He said, no.
Who said no?
The founder.
Okay.
He said, no. That's not why I told you. I was just telling you so that you know I'm a day later than I originally planned. So you can tell that this guy is not normal. But we couldn't tell him anything to stop him from coming. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are many other founder stories I can tell you where, and it's not that they're just doing this because they're trying to be subservient or they're trying to kiss ass. They're doing this because they genuinely love their customers. They believe wholeheartedly in their customers. They are willing to do anything to find a customer. It's not about the money.
Okay.
For them, it's about the mission that they've decided to pursue. Those are the guys that I invest in.
Okay. So from what you've said, the first thing I'm seeing is that how would you know if someone's trying to game you? I mean, someone could just say, oh, this guy likes somebody who's committed, and I'm just going to be committed to anything he says. How would you know? Well, how would you tell? What's your radar?
No, I don't try to not be gamed. You understand? I invest accepting out. Even the good guys, I will lose money on.
Okay.
So I'm not interested in not being game. But you know one thing, before I invest these days, you have to come through our accelerator program.
All right.
Our accelerator program doesn't give any money.
Which I like, I should say.
No money, and we don't take any equity from you. So it's a exchange of information.
Okay.
That's about it. Now, you have to sit through that for 10 weeks. Right.
So you can't game the 10 weeks. Your true nature will show.
Yeah. By the end of the 10 weeks, we know who you are.
Okay.
We know who you are. And in that 10 weeks, I'm pumping you with customer prospects. It's not that I'm just leaving you alone. I'm talking to you every week, and I'm sending you introductions. I will know very quickly whether you want business or you don't want business. It's very easy to know. If your first answer to every introduction is but we don't have money, I say okay, no problem. Say, me too, I don't have money. If it's like,
okay,
well, I've boiled it down to this one thing we can do that costs 2 million naira. Sometimes I don't even write an agreement. I just 2 million naira, go. I don't even want an agreement. I don't want the bother of coming up with a structure, whatever. If it's something within my wheelhouse, I'll give it to you and let's see what you do with it, because it saves me trouble down the line. In 2 ways. If you don't succeed, you won't come back. Which is helpful for me.
Yeah, so you've pretty much just paid for.
I've paid you off. I've done my Sahara, so you can be going. But if it works out, I will see you come back. And actually, I've made $500,000 investments from 5K that I dashed somebody.
As an investment?
As an investment. Just take 5K. Just go and that thing you say you want to do. You say 5K can do it, Abi. Go and do it. Go and do it. I don't want an agreement. Don't give me agreements. Don't. Because now when I want to bring you back now, it now become, do you own the company? This one, take you to compliance. All this. I'm not interested. Just 5K is dash. If it doesn't work, okay.
All right. So there are some investors here, angel investors, and I believe some representatives from your organization. So there might be some other investors from other organizations. And there are founders here as well, people who run their startups. For an investor listening, what are some of the mistakes they should look out for when a founder is pitching to them? And what are some of those mistakes that you look out for that founders commonly make when pitching to a potential investor?
Okay. I mean, the biggest mistake I think investors make is being impressed by form.
How do you mean form?
I went to Harvard. It's the easiest way to get off my I don't, generally speaking, from an investment track record perspective, I've never made money on anybody that went to Harvard.
Wow.
So if that's your calling card, you're out. And I have backed a few. I've just never made money on
So that's experience talking, not just...
If you're somebody that talks about, so-and-so is interested, this person, you've lost me. I find a lot of investors are very impressed by things that don't matter for the business. The second thing is, if you don't come to me with a customer insight that is unique, right?
By customer insight, you mean understanding the market you want to serve?
Yes, more than that. Okay. It's like everybody will say, we want to solve the problem of payments. We want to solve the problem of financial inclusion. If they're not saying something different about how they want to do it, I don't invest. Because what's the difference between you and everybody else? There's not. If you know something, we should know what it is.
So can you give us a quick scenario of one of the investments you've made where the person has given you the kind of thing you're looking for?
Flutterwave.
Okay.
I mean, I started out at Flutterwave as an investor. So, I was an Andela. Everybody knows I angel invest. Somebody reached out, he was a client for us at first. Benga was a client with Access Bank. They were trying to rebuild Pay with Culture app. We started hanging out. Said, actually, I'm building this thing, The trouble with pay with capture is that it's owned by a bank. So other banks will not allow us to accept payments from their customers. So I'm building this thing that sort of acts like a switch, so that regardless of what bank you come from, you first end up at Flutterwave before you see pay with capture. So if you come with your first bank card to a pay with capture machine, right, or QR code, what it will do is that it will charge as a different entity called Flutterwave, not pay with capture by Access Bank, your card, before coming. And the reason for this is the merchant really doesn't care to use a particular bank's app payments, doesn't care. He wants to collect whatever the customer is willing to pay him with. But all these banks, they have siloed systems. They think it's really about forcing the customer because he has a loan or facility with you. It doesn't work. So you can hear insights. He knows. He's doing the one they told him to do, but he knows what should work. So I'm like, guy, let's go and do this thing somewhere. Like, we don't have to die inside this bank now. Leave the bank. Let's do this thing properly.
So that was your confirmation.
That was my confirmation.
And so if someone wanted to walk up to you today, they should better know.
They have to know what is unique. What is it that everybody else doesn't understand about this business that you understand?
Okay. So I would be, well, maybe this evening, the first person to say, it sounds like you're a good guy, making a lot of money, and then thinking, oh, my friends, you know, how will I give them? You're feeling guilty for having cashed out. How do you balance the need for financial returns with the passion to support entrepreneurs as you have?
I don't. That's my honest answer.
I would go forward to say to support innovative startups. So yeah. How would you, you have to think.
I hire people and stay out of their way. So the fund now, I'm just an IC member. I don't know anything. And they always joke. They say his answer is always yes. So that he said yes is not my problem.
So are you saying for angel investors, if I think I'm a pretty nice guy too,
yeah.
You just said yeah, but you don't know that for sure, do you?
I think you're a nice guy.
Okay, so I think I'm a pretty nice guy. So I would probably have the type of problem you have. If there were any other angels that had that type of problem, how would you say, imagine if they didn't have the kind of structure you have, how would you advise them to?
That's why groups like LAN are very important for angel investors, right? Because you might be the nice guy type, right? You know, you just like entrepreneurs like me, and you just want to help them. But there'll be other people in your group that are not so nice guys.
Yeah.
They actually look at the numbers, they look at it. So it's as a group, you know, somebody will analyze, somebody will source, somebody will do diligence. That's what's supposed to happen in an angel group.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
So
it shouldn't be everybody does their own homework. It should be okay. Everybody's coming in with deal flow, right? A central person that has the expertise should analyze, figure out, oh, look, there are obvious, I call them business physics problems, right? You can never go against the laws of physics. In business, there are laws of physics. It's like, look, this business has a physics problem. We can't. So now it's on you to now go back to the entrepreneur and say, oh, Benny, do you want to fix your physics problem? You know? So my team does that function for me. Sometimes I'm excited about an entrepreneur. I think he's hungry, but by the time I take it to Mia, she'll say, look, this business cannot work. This is why. Oh, no problem. Thank you, Ma.
So can I follow? Sorry, yeah. Can I follow on quickly with that? Have you ever been wrong? Like your team has said, this business can't work.
Yeah.
But you've been proven wrong.
Oh no, I mean many times, more times than I've even been right. As in the business, I don't force. So I've learned over the years, I don't force a decision on the team, but I make an argument. So I don't. It's a balance. That's where the balance is. So your business, the physics, the laws of physics in business are somewhat a matter of opinion, right? Because the conditions change. Unlike nature, they are not constant.
This doesn't sound very helpful. I think I'm now even more confused.
Let me explain.
Okay.
Let me explain. At the end of the day, business is a logical and philosophical argument. Yeah, we have to go, Abi. I trust so much.
Okay.
Business is a logical and philosophical argument, right? So yes, people are supposed to behave like this, right? But I'm sorry, a psychological argument as well, right? So people are supposed to behave like this, but in reality, this is how they think. On the one hand, on the other hand, the reality is that logically this will not work, right? Based on how people think and based on what works. So you have to have a culture in your firm or in your angel group where people can poke holes at anything, and there is always somebody there who is also trying. You don't just have people in your angel group who are trying to say no. You also have people in your angel group who are trying to find a way to yes.
Okay.
Do you understand? And it's in that, my Jewish friends call it bit madresh, right? It's in that intellectual argument that you eventually come to a conclusion that actually, on the substance of things, this thing can work. But we just have to do this, and this.
Okay. So quickly, final thoughts. There are experienced angel investors here.
Yeah.
And there are potential new angel investors here. A lot have lost a lot of money. Some people have made quite a lot.
Absolutely.
The advice you would give to intending angel investors?
Yeah. I think invest in things where you have a competitive advantage. And let me explain what that means, because that can sound like big English. Assume you're in a video game and there is a kind of business that you can cheat in. Like, you know how those of us that play video game, and maybe not many of you, we always have cheat codes. Find the business where you have the cheat codes. Either you have unparalleled access to the customer.
Is this as an investor now?
As an investor, as an angel investor.
Okay.
Find a business. Focus on a business where you have a cheat code. You know the customer very well. Or you understand how the customer thinks. Or you can introduce him to the technical person that can help him. Or you are that person. Or, find a business where you have a cheat code and use that cheat code to the maximum.
Thank you very much, E. A round of applause, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iyin. Thank you so much, Tahno. That was quite an enjoyable conversation.